Welcome to my channel. My name is Barbara. This is Barbara Talks. I will be talking about the dark side of all the signs today, but just because you have this sign, I know people are attached to the sign that they have doesn't mean that this is going to be you. It's a plane of duality at the end of the day. It's just how the sign can express itself when it's in the dark version of itself or the shadow of the energy. And plus, in a natal chart, there's so many things to look at, so sometimes the energy might not be expressed in this way. You guys can see what signs you guys resonate with most in your chart. Sometimes people have a dominant energy. Some people are sometimes, let's say, Scorpio dominant, or some people are sometimes, let's say, Aries dominant, or Libra dominant. You know what I mean? So it can be sun, moon, rising, but it's like you do still have a dominant energy at the end of the day, so that's probably what's going to resonate with you most. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So Aries as an energy, it is ruled by Mars. Aries, when it is in the shadow of itself, Aries can be very impulsive when they are in the shadow of the energy. Aries can be very selfish. Aries can like nothing about anybody else but themselves. They can be very aggressive as well. They might be very explosive. They might not know how to handle conflict. And that's something that they're actually meant to master in this lifetime, is like managing their emotions, managing conflict resolution, managing anger management, all these things. Okay, so for Aries, for example, to balance that energy within going to the gym, for example, is going to be very beneficial for them. Aries can sometimes also be sexually impulsive because Aries is ruled by Mars. So sometimes they can be interested in people and jump into bed with them right away, for example. So you guys can look and see whether you guys think that's a positive thing or a shadow thing. That's up to you guys. But they can be impulsive. That's the thing overall with Aries energy. It is an impulsive energy, okay? When it is in the shadow, sometimes they jump into things before they're ready. Again, that's a trait that you guys can see whether you think it's a positive trait or a shadow thing. Sometimes it's a positive thing to jump into things before you're ready, but sometimes it's a shadow thing because it's like you might sometimes bite off more than you can chew. You don't think the situation through, or you can like overpromise and underdeliver, for example, with the Aries energy. So those are the things that Aries is meant to master. They can be all about the self. They can be like really focused on the self. They might struggle, let's say, in relationships. That's another thing you guys can look at too, is like when the energies go into the shadow, you're trying to balance the other polarity. The opposite of Aries is Libra, and Libra is all about other people. So it's like for Aries to balance the energy within, they kind of want to still sometimes try to figure out how to consider other people in situations, not just be about the self. That's kind of how the energies work. Sometimes they can be naive. I know that's not something that people really think of when it comes to Aries, but it's like they are the earlier signs, like the first house. So they can sometimes be naive. For example, they might be, let's say, too trusting as well. Sometimes, like if we look at it in that way as well, but like they're very sensitive inside. Like I find Aries energy to be like a little kid. They're like impulsive, but then they feel bad right away after. So sometimes trying to learn to control those impulses inside. If you do explode and if you do get angry, with Aries, they can be indecisive. I find with Aries, they can be indecisive, and that's another thing that people don't really notice with them, because like the indecisiveness is like a Libra trait. But again, keep in mind, all of the energies bounce off of each other. So with Aries, I find that they go into indecision, and sometimes it's more indecisive than Libra. Also Aries, I find they're very much like, don't tell me what to do, I'm gonna do it my own way. Because again, it's like the sign of the self. So like with Aries energy as well, it's like if somebody tries to tell them, maybe you can do it like this, or anything that involves kind of like instructions, they're like not gonna want to listen to you. It's kind of very much like a don't tell me what to do type of energy. Which again, you guys can see like whether this is a positive thing or a shadow thing. You can always twist it into a positive thing, of course. They're very good at like being entrepreneurs and CEOs and managers and these sorts of things. Although with Aries, I find they're more so the starters and not so good at continuing. So that's another thing with the Aries energy too in the shadow. They're going to be good at starting, but they're not going to be so good at continuing, because it's like, again, for them, it's like the excitement of the novelty. When something is new, it's exciting. So it's like when that wears off, they drop it, they move on to the next thing. That's why Aries energy is very good at like being a manager, because they get the idea, they delegate it to the other people, the team, and then they start the next idea. So they're good starters. They're good at starting ideas, also good at continuing them, because again, they always want something new. It's that first house. That's what Aries rules. So that's the Aries energy, basically, the shadow of it.